Good morning, everyone. My name is Anastasiia Savchenko, and I am a business development manager for ESRI Inc., for our global utilities and infrastructure team. I actually sit in our Rotterdam office, and I work with 28 distributors across Europe with all the topics related to electric, gas, utilities, telecoms, water, and anything that is infrastructure related within rails, ports, and airports. And so today, I would like to talk to you about the applying geospatial aspect and geospatial thinking while you're managing your infrastructure companies. So the scope of the presentation is actually quite large. We're going to talk about the geospatial approach itself, and then there's different types of digital twin that are part of the geospatial approach that you can use. Throughout the conversation and throughout the conference today, you're going to learn about different types of digital twins. So I will just concentrate in my presentation on the network twin and operations twin, and then bring some of the examples from the customer, so to give you just an understanding what other customers in the region are doing. So let's start with the geographic approach. The currently infrastructure companies are undergoing a lot of digital transformation, and to be able to manage your organizations in the most efficient way, you need to start thinking on how to combine those different types of data and different types of systems with the geographic approach, with the common denominator of geography. So data and geography comes together and helping you to create these modern infrastructure companies that are powered by location intelligence. ESRI has solutions and working with many different problems in the world. And there's solutions to work with economic development, with urban development, with sustainability, equity, political instabilities. And utilities and infrastructure companies are no different. All of these challenges are actually a part of the modern utility and infrastructure company daily routine. You also have to fight these kind of challenges and find solutions that will help you to move forward and create this modern way of operating your infrastructure companies. And these challenges are actually creating a lot of opportunities for you, and it is an opportunity to rethink how you're doing your IT and business decision-making, how you're bringing the new way of thinking about the challenges in your infrastructure. And ESRI has the solutions that help you to kind of sit down and think on how you can actually move forward in this new reality using the intelligence technology. So the geographic approach for infrastructure is actually allowing you to have the business and the IT at the same table and find the approaches, the common approaches, the geospatial approach, and find the way to move forward to these modern utilities by accommodating the existing systems, but also finding the way to operate the systems that are going to come in the future. Everything that's related to energy transition, climate change, to all your changes that are coming to your organizations. And actually, GIS impacts every single department within your organizations, from planning and design to construction to operating and managing your organizations. And so, if we're talking about the geospatial aspect, it is very logically coming into the conversation to talk about the digital twins. We at ESRI believe that every one of you is actually working with the digital twins for more than 20 years now. Digital twin now is the buzzword. Everybody talks about the digital twin, and you can create this digital twin or this digital twin, but we think that all of you have been working with digital twins for decades now. Throughout representing your networks, representing your physical object, processes, relationships, you actually have been developing and working with digital twins. And the ArcGIS is the foundation for infrastructure digital twins, and it allows to really find the relationships between the social and natural and build environmental digital models to really help you answer the geographic questions, the questions how to operate more efficiently your utilities, to find that real representations of the world life in your workspaces. And most importantly, GIS is the fundamental for digital twins, and it helps to integrate different types of digital twins. And so when we're talking about how large is the transformation and digital transformation of our world and our infrastructure companies, it is worth mentioning that there are different types of digital twin. And each one of you, depending on which organization you belong to, you may work with one or the other, or even a wide range of these digital twins. Everything starting with the landscapes, which is really representing your terrain, representing your environment, and maybe flora and fauna and topographic. The next digital twin is BIM, which is the building information model. So representing how your physical buildings, facilities look like, what does the infrastructure under the ground look like, to put it all in 3D, to make it integrate with your CAD and with your Revit and all the other design and construction tools. And then there's another digital twin, which is the networks information model. This is really used by the utility side or the infrastructure side of your organizations that uses the ability to represent the linear objects and the connectivity and the association between different assets within your organizations. And finally, we also have the cities information model, which is the digital twin of the cities that combines all different elements that I talked about before and help you to also understand that the more holistic approach when you're designing your developments, when you're designing your new regions, when you're designing your new systems, and where that new forecast and new development will come through. And so it's really the larger district city scale of information modeling and digital twin. And so GIS is the framework for all those different types of digital twins and all those twins. And using ArcGIS Enterprise Platform, you can actually model the complete life cycle of the twins. You can start with data capture and integration, start to collect the data in the field, starting finding the common denominator that is the geography between different types of information and data sources that you receive in your organization. And then you come to the real-time and visualization aspect of the digital twin, where you can start actually analyzing that data, analyzing different types of sources, and finding the way and relationships between them like you haven't been able to do before without having that common geospatial aspect. The next, you, of course, can share that organization throughout your organization. Imagine the power that you give into your users when you are actually providing them with the ability to not only view, but also integrate and work and collaborate between each other when they all have access to that twin that you created to be able to operate that organization. All of a sudden, people within your organizations that haven't been able to have that power can now actually interact with the twins that you create, interact with the systems you put in place, and develop their own application and think outside of the box and do more with efficiency and with less effort. And so GIS platform capabilities allow you to construct the environmental twin, the planning twin, the design and construction twin. These are the twins that you will hear about in the next conversations during this day, but I will concentrate on the networks and operations twin, and it all connects with the reality capture, with ability to integrate with other systems you have and enterprise platforms. And so we're going to move on to the network twin. What is the network twin? It is the modern network management system. It is the system that many of you have in place in some way or form. Some of you may have lines or points and polygons representing electric systems or water systems or maybe telecoms. Some may have a CAD drawing that represents that lines representing that energy supply systems, for example. With the network twin, you can actually start creating a more meaningful representation of real way of your supply systems and your utility systems. And it's usually modeling a very complex network. So now instead of just, representing a full set of substations assets as one point, or one polygon, you can actually now start modeling the full spectrum of the element that belong to that complex structure. So you can start modeling very advanced representation of your network. And it also can be, you can model it for all different domains, for electric, for water, district energy, district heating, telecoms, any kind of systems that helps you to operate your linear system that helps you to operate your infrastructure companies, you can model them using network twin. Utility network is the main product that ESRI offers to be able to construct this modern network management solution. This solution has the business logic encapsulated inside of the solution behind the information model that allows you to really start managing your systems in a more efficient way. You have attribute rules and you have business rules that allows you to preserve the data quality, the representation of the systems, and make more meaningful work. And it is the system that is designed to follow the modern integration and the grid requirements. We all know that energy system has been transformed in how it is operated from 20 years ago. So we need to have solutions in place that will also help us manage the system that is of a current state, and so not the system that was designed 20 years ago. We have all different types of users now that are interacting in our energy systems, in our water systems, gas systems, and we need to be able to have the technology that helps us to manage it. The technology that was created these days, and ESRI has been investing in this technology for 8 years now, and we are the most advanced technology on the market that helps you to manage the network management solutions. So network twin leverages RGS Enterprise and utility network solution. And on the pictures, you can see also different types of examples. I think they're popping up through the videos. You can see how you can, represent your twins. One of the examples that I wanted to show you of the network twin is this representation of the system from Dubai. This is actually, you can see on the video, it's going to start popping in. There's different types of systems put together, domains, and connected to the solar plant that is in 3D. So you can have a 2D and 3D at the same time and model your system and operate your system at the same time. You can do the tracing. You can represent your assets in the BIM. You can understand how the connectivity and associations are done. You can actually interact with every single aspect and asset within your systems and really understand your system in the more detail. So this is just one of the examples. We have many other examples, and some of them from Europe, some of them from the States, worldwide. Customers like yours are doing this network twin. We're now moving on to operations twin. What is the operation twin? To me, it sounds like operation twin is actually combining all different types of digital twins and allowing you to actually put the solutions together in place that help you to manage your system more efficiently. It has the IoT integration aspect, predictive analysis, facility management, asset management. It's all about these different types of processes that you can start out in your infrastructure companies to help you manage your company more efficiently and make more informative decisions. So examples of the operations twin is the asset management, for example. Asset inspection is one of the most crucial points in the infrastructure points. You need to know how your assets looks, when are they supposed to be decommissioned, when is the new assets coming in, and all of the things. And there's many different solutions you can put in place to help you do just that. As an example on the picture here in the corner, you can see that there's a company in Denmark called Andel. They're an electric distribution company. And what they do with managing their assets is they're actually using the AI and machine learning algorithms to help them to identify empty fuses and fault fuses within the fuses boxes just through the pictures that their inspectors took in the field. So there's a lot of things that you can start thinking outside of the box and create that geospatial thinking on how you're managing and doing your asset management. When we move to the facilities, ArcGIS for indoors is the tool that allows you to very easily start managing your facilities and provide that power of inside the building location intelligence. You can start managing your indoor spaces. You can start managing your facilities, allow the booking systems within your facilities for employees. It's especially important now that we are back from the COVID and we need to sometimes share the spaces within the offices. So that could be one of the solutions. You can also help your customer or your users to navigate inside of the buildings with RGS Indoors. One of the examples, I don't know the Estonian language, so I wasn't been able to follow Ivo, maybe he mentioned it, but one of the examples is the indoors that set up here for this conference. And it was very cool for me to play with the indoor setup and just try to navigate through the different rooms and different schedules. So you can do that same kind of concept in your workspaces. And with the IPS for ArcGIS Indoors, it actually became so much easier to start setting this up. It doesn't take any more, hours and months to kind of set this up. It's very easy now to do it with your business users. And now to the vegetation management. Vegetation management is another aspect of the operating twin. Vegetation management, for some of you, is one of the most costed program, the program that takes the most revenue from your budgets because, money from your budgets, because vegetation management is often this program where you need to start really doing in-depth analysis on how much you can cut, where it needs to be cut. Maybe sometimes you need to analyze the age of the trees and stuff like that. With ArcGIS, it's actually very easy to start joining the imagery, the analytics, the 3D to put it together to make the more efficient decision-making based on the data that you're already capturing within your organizations. So the other aspect of Operations Twin is the control systems. The systems that provides you as the decision makers as well as the executives within your organizations to start making better informative decisions based on the systems that you set up and the information that you provide them to overview. That could be with the dashboards that are set for your inspections. It could also be for you to understand and manage the scheduling and dispatch for your field crews, the workforce management, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to the field area of operations management, there is a lot of tools that ArcGIS offers to be able to help you to do the maintenance and inspections. Excuse me. Data capturing, connections with the customer, integrations, and even geofencing. So there's a lot of tools available for you that are using right now, and they all belong to the operations management. But more importantly, it just provides you with the real-time situational awareness. One of the key aspects within the infrastructure geospatial thinking is the ability to integrate with enterprise-level systems that are mission-critical within your organizations. For many of you, you have ERP systems, you have ADMS systems, you have SCADAs, you have all different systems that are mission-critical for your organization. GIS is the center point between the systems. GIS allows you to bridge and read the information from other systems and geo-enable that information to help you make better decisions. As an example, when you have a connection between the ERP and ADMS through GIS, and you feed, for example, information about your customers in relationship with the outage schedules for the outage management, you can start getting in advance, getting ready to inform your customers about these outages. You understand what's happening around these customers' areas and all other things. And there's a million examples like this when you start actually linking the information between all the mission-critical enterprise systems within your organization. So, as an example, I would like to move to a few customer examples that are already using Network Twin and Operations Twin. One is very close to you. It's just across, from my geographic standpoint, understanding across the border from Lithuania. A company called ISO. They are part of Ignitis Group. They are one of the biggest Baltic customers for us in utility space, and they are actually quite a large company. They have 1.8 million electricity users and over 500,000 of the gas users. About a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, they started their journey where they sat down and said, you know, we cannot manage our systems in the same way as we have been managing it up till now. We need to start rethinking those business processes and IT decisions and understand how we're going to move forward and create this modern utility nowadays. What they did is they started small. They started with configuring some of the web GIS applications, which is really, you can see there's some field inspections, there's some network monitoring, operating task statuses. So they configured a few of those applications on the mobile and on the web. And once they kind of hit the ceiling, they made the big jump into the gas-based network management solution. So they modeled the gas system in the utility network. As the time passed, they realized that now they can actually start moving their electric system in the utility network. And as of last week, I was talking to them, they're nearly live with their utility network for electric distribution system. It takes time, of course, but they're also now integrating their ADMS with their utility network. And so now they can start figuring out these applications that help them to, for example, do the network depositor data source in GIS for their DMS system. Another example is the LUSA. LUSA is I call them LUSA, they actually called LNet, the old name is LUSA. They are a distribution network system from Norway. They are in Stavanger area, and they are actually a multi-domain company. But as a purpose of this conversation, we're going to concentrate on electric. LUSA has been challenged with the things that are happening around them, is that they need to actually start transitioning into the new way of operating modern system right now, because they have a lot of influx of electric vehicles. They have a big influx of the renewables coming on the system. And so they could not manage their reality with the old IT systems in place. What they did is they actually sit down together in the whole organization and thought of what are some of the challenges that business is facing, IT is facing, and operations are facing. They listed those challenges, and they understood, they went through the process thinking on how to understand what is the new modern IT landscape should look like to help satisfy all those business and operating challenges. They rethink their whole system, and as a result of this, they set up a new GIS enterprise system that helped them to now represent a digital twin of their network operation system with the ability to manage it from the web and mobile, and ability to start plugging in that renewable energy, understand how to forecast, how to know what happened in the history, to do the 3D modeling, and a lot of other cool things. So there are cases in Europe which you can refer back to, and you can talk to your customers and understand how they've gone through this digital transformation already. And to sum up with that is there's community of your peers in Europe that I work daily with, where we can connect you to be active participant with these communities. There are communities of airport users, rail users, port users, electric users, and all other users. And this particular picture is from the very active electric distribution group in Europe. They called themselves UNC. We were hosting them in Rotterdam office just last year. This year, they're actually going to meet in Lithuania and at ISO. The point of this community is you can see logos on the sides there, but they're a very welcoming group of people that are actually searching for new customers like yourselves to join their conversations and to share those ideas on how to transform their digital landscapes. And similar to them, there's other communities out there. And I invite you to join those conversations more on the continental level. As you know, some of you may not have peers of the same airport in your own country, but you may be able to benefit from talking to the customers from other countries in Europe. And so now I want to do a certain promotion a little bit. Last week, we were at the International IMJS conference. This is the first conference that took place in Europe from ESRI infrastructure management standpoint. We usually have this event in Palm Springs in the US, but this year we recognize that there's so many users in Europe who can benefit from bringing this event to Europe that we actually had the first conference. And it has been a huge success. We planned for 500 users at the conference. And as you can see on the stat, we actually had 730 people coming in, and customers and partners and users, because it was just a much needed event to join the conversations with your peers and start talking about these digital transformations that take place in the infrastructure companies. This is the event, IMGIS, we call it IMGIS, but it's Infrastructure Management GIS Conference. It take place in Europe. It has industry tracks for electric and water, telecoms, transport, and AEC. So it has technical sessions from ESRI and distributors. It has special interest groups, which is really the place for you to sit down and talk to your peers and discuss the topics that are common for all of you. And it has a big exhibit of partners from different countries in Europe, as well as the ESRI partners. And just like your calendars mark for May next year for Baltic Conference, I also invite you to mark your calendars for the next year IMGIS Conference. Because it has been such a success, and we know that users from Estonia, as well as other countries, can benefit of getting together on the European stage, we're going to have a conference next year in Frankfurt in Germany again, and it's going to happen between April 8th and 10th. Please mark your calendars, connect with Ivo and see how you can register for it. And actually, I also want to take this opportunity and ask all of you to think if there's stories that you would like to present. We're looking for customer stories all the time. I would love to highlight Estonian stories on the stage as well. So if you have a story that you really think that you would like to present, I would be happy to include it in the IMGIS as well. And with that, hopefully I could get my point across that applying geospatial aspects within your organizations can really help you to benefit from the systems in building these digital transformed organizations. Thank you very much.
Anastasiia, thank you very much. I think we have a minute or two. If anyone has a question, because Anastasiia, kui kellelgi on küsimusi, et Anastasiia läheb kohe poole konverentsi pealt uuesti tagasi, et siis võib ühe kiire küsimuse saame teha. Palun käsi juba. Okay. When the registration will be open for IMGIS?
The registration will be actually open sometime in November. You can already submit, if you have papers or you have stories that you would like to submit, you can already start submitting them through email to Iva, to myself. Please, welcome.
Okay. Here in the crowd, there are people from Rail Baltica and
yes.
from
thank you very much for coming.
Infrastructure organizations. And even the municipalities, Tallinn City, I think this is topics of AEC and planning and it's digital twins, and
yeah,
it's a very useful conference.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we found is that it was the great place for companies like, for example, Rail Baltica, right? You guys managing different aspects, not about just transportation, just AEC. Some of you may be interested in network management. Some of you may be interested in some other topics like with the telecoms and fiber planning. And IMGS is the conference where you can actually start having those cross-section conversations with other customers and learn from them and find the common ground to discuss these topics. It's just amazing to cultivate that culture.
But before IMGIS, there is a San Diego user conference.
Of course. But if you don't want to go to the United States, you can come to Frankfurt. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anastasiia.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.